so my name is Crystal Lynn, and I advocate for people in addiction, people in recovery from alcohol and drugs. And so this video, I've made several videos questioning why Americans don't help, why they discriminate versus enabling, and why nobody ever helps people in active addiction, drugs and alcohol. So this video is going to be about how you can help a drug addict or an alcoholic in active addiction. Your friend, your family member, your partner, your child, your neighbor, community member, how you can help them. Because there is a lot of ways you can help them. And I would like to make this video about how you can help them whenever you choose to get involved in the drug and alcohol epidemic. Because it is a huge epidemic. And I have never heard Americans say, I am going to be mature and get involved. I'm going to get educated about addiction. I'm going to get involved and help these people get sober. I've never once heard an American say, I want to help these people get sober. All I've ever heard is people enable them or hate them, persecution and discrimination. That's all I've ever seen in American. But if one day you choose to man up and woman up and say, hey, I want to help them, I want to see their worth, I want to get to know them, how do I help them? And you're going to say, Crystalline, how do I help them? So, for one, you got to see their worth and that they're a human being that matters too. You got to get to know them. You got to get to know them. And you're going to learn that they're very intelligent people. They're very talented, they're very skilled. You're going to learn that they're very intelligent, talented, and skilled. And they could be more intelligent than you, more talented than you, and more skilled than you. And can you handle that without being jealous or intimidated, or without being weak and backing down and backing away? You're going to learn that these people are bold and courageous. These people are strong-willed. These people are passionate and opinionated. These people are stubborn. And are you going to have the ability to stand your ground when you need to? Because you're going to need to stand your ground. You're going to have boundaries. You're going to have to be able to stand your ground. You're going to have to be a strong person in order to help a drug addict or an alcoholic get sober. You have to be a strong-minded person. You have to be bold. You're going to have to set boundaries. You're going to have to be an honest person and a genuine person. So if you're not that person yet, but you want to help a drug addict or an alcoholic get sober, you're going to have to get genuine first with yourself and with other people. You're going to have to get honest with yourself and other people first. You're going to have to build up your integrity first before you ever come into the world of helping somebody get sober. That is a huge thing because these people love genuine people. They will only respect you if you're a genuine person, if you're a person of integrity. They're not going to respect you if they see any ounce of lack of integrity, any ounce of that you're trying to deceive them or you're trying to disrespect them. If you're dishonest with them, they will never talk to you again. They're gonna want nothing to do with you. If you actually want to help somebody, not enable them, not hate them, if you don't have ulterior motives and evil intent and evil motives with getting people sober, I pray that you all will one day want to seek out of how to help these people because they matter. But again, like I said, you have to be a person of integrity. You have to be a person of honesty, a person of respecting other people, having boundaries and being bold. You have to be strong-willed, just like these people in active addiction. They're very strong-willed, they're very bold, they're very set in their opinions, and and so are you. Sober, educated people, you guys are all opinionated too. You guys are all set in your ways too. And so it's no different. In a lot of ways, it's no different. You have to recognize that. You have to get to know yourself and who you are inside and out. because you're going to recognize that you guys are all stubborn, opinionated too. You guys might be passionate about certain subjects too. So there's also going to be a lot of similarities when you get to know somebody in active recovery. There's going to be a lot of similarities. You might be passionate, educated in your own topics. And you're going to learn, like I said, that people in active addiction, alcohol and drugs, they're very passionate about certain subjects. They're very knowledgeable. They're very talented and skilled. They're very authentic people. They're very genuine people, and they're very honest, and they're very vulnerable people, and they're willing to be honest with you and open with you. You have to give them a chance. You have to allow them to. You have to create the opportunity for them to come out of their shell, and because they know who they are inside and out, and they haven't ever had a chance to be who they are, to truly be who they are. So that's the first thing. Then, second thing is you're gonna have to study about addiction and read all the books you can and videos you can about addiction would be good. That'd be good. That'd be nice. Read lots of books, watch lots of videos on addiction recovery. That'd be cool. Another thing you could do is go to AA, Al-Anon, NA, because they do have countless open meetings that anyone can go to. Anyone, family member, friend, anyone. And I don't think people, maybe you're not aware of that. Maybe you're not aware of that. Maybe you never knew that. You can sit in an AA meeting or an NA meeting, and you can learn how these people got sober, what made them get sober. People share their stories. And they're very honest, they're very open, they're very vulnerable. Let's see, what else? Oh, the 12 steps. You're going to have to learn about the 12 steps and do it yourself first would be nice. It'd be nice if you did it yourself first. So you need to read the AA book and the NA book. There's several NA books and there's several AA books. It'd be good it'd be nice if you read those and you did the 12 steps and you read the 12 steps, you understand the 12 steps, you've applied it to your own life. That'd be nice. If you want to help people, you're gonna need to know the 12 steps because that's how you help people. That's one major way of helping people is the 12 steps, and that's a program inside of AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, and the program of NA, Narcotics Anonymous. And inside that program also is talking of a higher power, which for many people, the higher power is God. And so many of the steps talk about a higher power, which many people turn into God. That's God for them. And so you're going to have to be somebody that knows God, that has already gotten to know God, already loves God, already know who God is inside and out. So if you want to help an addict in addiction, alcohol or drugs, an active addiction, if you want to help them get sober, you're going to have to know who God is, and you're going to have to appreciate who God is and love who God is. That's the type of person that can help somebody get into recovery. Because the 12 steps is a spiritual program. In case you didn't know that, the 12 steps is a spiritual program that talks about a higher power, and for many people that is God. And the more you know God, the closer you are to God, that's going to be beneficial in order to help people get sober. And part of that, there's also another program. There's also other programs called Smart Recovery, Celebrate Recovery. Those are all very good programs as well. There's tons of other programs too, but I'm familiar with Smart Recovery and Celebrate Recovery. And I've been involved with both of them before. I've been involved in a lot of addiction recovery programs before, and I'm a huge advocate for Smart Recovery and Celebrate Recovery, not just AA and NA. I've seen that a lot of people gravitate to those programs, and they're successful in those programs. And so Smart Recovery, they have workbooks, they talk more about science-based, they talk about It's different than AA and NA. So for some people, Smart Recovery, they love Smart Recovery better. Then Celebrate Recovery, they talk more about God and the 8 Beatitudes. And a lot of people like the Bible and to get sober through the Bible and to get sober through the words of God instead of using the word higher power. They use the word God more in Celebrate Recovery. And so for some people, they actually like the God route and the Bible route way better than AA and NA. And so, you know, if somebody doesn't like AA and NA and the 12 steps, then help them with a Celebrate Recovery program or a Smart Recovery program. Okay? You're going to have to be open. I think it'd be best if you're educated on all of the programs, on at least several different programs. It'd be good if you're educated on several different programs because they're just as effective and just as good as AA and NA. So the more educated you are, the more you'll be able to help people. Also, the more humble you are, the more you're able to help other people. The more authentic, the more genuine, the more honest you are, the more you can help people. The more passionate you are, the more you can help people. You know, the more bold you are, the more you can help people. You know, the more integrity you have, the more you can help people. If you're willing to step aside, the more willing you are to step outside of your comfort zone, the more you can help people. You'll be able to, these people with these qualities and these traits, with these qualifications, these type of people are going to be able to help the most people. If you want to help a lot of people, you can. You're capable of it. Countless people out there that are sober educated, you are capable of helping people in active addiction to get into recovery if you have all these qualifications. And you're willing to have these qualifications. You're willing to work on it now so that you can one day help somebody get sober. Because I promise that if you don't already have a friend or a family member or a neighbor that is in active addiction, that one day you will have a son or a daughter that's in active addiction. You're going to have a friend or a family member inside of active addiction. So my recommendation is for every single American to get sober, to get educated, and yeah, get sober, because true sobriety is not just somebody that doesn't drink or do drugs. True sobriety is way above and beyond just not smoking and drinking. Okay, true sobriety. So we can get that out of the way now. But so that's great. I just got that out of the way. But yes, the more educated you are, and the more that you work and develop on your qualities and your traits, now the better off you're gonna be. Because like I said, even if you don't have a friend or a family member in your life right now that's an active addiction, even if you don't have a neighbor in your life right now that's an active addiction, one day you will have a friend or a family member or a child or somebody or a neighbor that is in active addiction. And one day you might be in a position where you want to know how to help these people. And if you prepare yourself now, you will be more successful when that day comes. You'll be better prepared and more successful and more mature and just more educated. The more educated you are, the sooner you are educated, and the more educated you are, and the sooner you get educated, the better prepared you will be when a situation arises. Okay? That's just a fact in any scenario in the universe, not just in active addiction, dealing with active addiction. Let's see, what else? Another thing that's extremely effective with people in active addiction is praying with lots of people in active addiction. They like it when somebody prays with them. They like it if somebody reads the Bible to them or with them. They like singing Christian songs. All right? You would be surprised about how many people with criminal records, who have violent offenses, the most severe people with criminal records who are in active addiction, you will be surprised. You're going to learn and be very surprised of how much they love God, Christian music, how much they love to worship, and how much they love church. They love church. A lot of them love a church type of thing. They love worship. They love Christian music. They love the Bible. They love people that talk about the Bible. They love people that know their Bibles inside and out. Because what you're going to learn is a lot of people in active addiction, they know their Bibles inside and out. Many of them do. And many of them know God very well and know the devil very well. And so the more you know about God and the devil and the Bible, the better you are going to be able to help people in active addiction. And that's just a fact. That's just a humongous fact. And so, that's what's funny about America is that it's the Christians and the Mormons that are the most judgmental and the most discriminatory or the most enabling people in America to people in active addiction, and yet Christians and Mormons yet a true Christian or a true Mormon would actually be the perfect person to help somebody get sober. That's what's so ironic about this entire epidemic. That's what's so incredibly ironic and mind-baffling and mind-blowing, is that the people that could help people in active addiction the most are people who are highly Christian, true Christians, who are Christians through and through, inside and out. The people that are most passionate about Christianity, those are the people that could help people in active addiction the most. So if you or someone you know is extremely Christian, a true Christian, and who loves Christianity, who loves the Bible and loves God and prayer and everything to do with Christianity, then they would be the perfect person to help somebody get sober. Yeah, and that's the most ironic thing of this entire epidemic. The other thing is if you actually gave opportunities to people in active addiction, if you actually gave them a job to do, if you actually gave them volunteer opportunities, if you actually took them on vacations, then maybe they would realize that they need to get sober, why it would be worth it to get sober. Maybe if you actually invited them on vacations, volunteer opportunities, a work position, maybe they would actually realize why they should get sober. If you gave them opportunities, then people would get sober sooner. They would get sober sooner, I promise. If any of you chose to be a mentor, a one-on-one mentor to somebody in active addiction, they could get sober quickly, more quickly than the countless people that have no mentors that are in active addiction. That's a fact. They need a mentor, a one-on-one mentor, to see their worth and to help them get sober. They need a mentor. And like I said, the most ironic thing of the entire epidemic is that Mormons and Christians, people that are true Christians, that know the most about spirituality, know the most about God and the Bible, are people that could bring people to Christ the most and bring people to addiction recovery, get people out of addiction and into recovery. You people would be the perfect people to bring these people to recovery. The problem in America is when the reason why people aren't sober is because nobody saw their worth, everybody discriminated against them, and everybody enabled them. And so nobody actually helped these people. And so I would like to see America choose to help these people. And I also chose to present this video in front of this art piece right here for a reason. That was very well thought out, by the way, because this is one of my favorite pictures for years and years. And Jesus Christ chases after the one. He leaves the 99 and goes and looks for the one. And that's why I chose to do this video in front of this picture of Jesus Christ and the sheep and the lambs. Because he leaves the 99 to go looking for the one. And that is what Jesus is all about. And that's what a true Christian is all about. You leave your friends and family, you leave your churches, and you go find the one. Okay? And if you've ever heard of the prodigal son in the book of Luke in the Bible, then you will know. If you've ever read the Philippians, where he says with God all things are possible, then you will know how to help people. if you know about Job or Jonah, if you know about David, if you know about countless people in the scriptures, then you're going to know how to help people in active addiction. That's what's so ironic about this entire epidemic. If you understand the true stories of Jonah or Job or David, Paul in the New Testament, I can go on and on with the names. If you actually read your Book of Mormon and knew anything about Alma, if you knew anything about Nephi, if you knew anything about Joseph Smith, this is what's so ironic. Ugh, it makes me sick. If you people actually knew and understood and could acknowledge that Joseph Smith was thrown in jail, Nephi chopped a man's head off, called murder. He murdered a man. And yet Mormons don't want to help people in active addiction? Okay. David put a man in front of the war to be killed. And everybody loved David. He wrote Psalms and did countless things. He became the best king, best ruler. If anyone knew about Joseph in the Old Testament, and how he was thrown in jail and prison, and he became the greatest ruler. He became wealthy and became a ruler. Mormons and Christians know about these people in the Bible and Book of Mormon and Doctrine and Covenants. You guys literally worship and follow prophets and Christians in the scriptures that have killed people, that were thrown in prison, and that were falsely accused, because there's also countless people in the Book of Mormon and Bible that were falsely accused also and thrown in jail and prisons. And yet, countless sober educated Christians in America reject people with criminal records and reject people in active addiction. I will never understand it. Yet Joseph Smith went to jail and was called a criminal time after time, and yet Nephi chopped a man's head off. Yet David killed a man, had a man killed in war. Yet Joseph in the Old Testament was thrown in prison and then became a great ruler, and David became a great ruler in the Old Testament. Countless stories about the Bible, Book of Mormon, Doctrine and Covenants, yet so many people act like it's so hard to help somebody that's been in jail or prison, to help somebody that's in active addiction. I feel like it's a huge tragedy that people thought it was so hard to deal with somebody that's been in jail or prison or in active addiction. But yet you can read the Doctrine and Covenants, the Bible and Book of Mormon, and you supposedly love it. You Christians out there, sober educated people, supposedly love the Book of Mormon, Bible, and Doctrine and Covenants. You supposedly know it inside and out. But yet you act like it's so hard to help somebody that's been in jail or prison or in active addiction. Who is inside of active addiction? People with criminal records. People that have been to jail and prisons, in case you forgot, in case you don't know, in case you're uneducated still. Who is it that has active addiction issues? It's people that have been to jail and prison. Many of them have been to jail and prison. Not all of them, but many of them have. Many of them have. And so you're going to have to be okay with people that have been in jail and prison. And how are you going to be okay with it? Well, you're already okay with Nephi that chopped a man's head off. You're already okay with Joseph Smith that went to jail over and over again. You're already okay with David. You're already okay with Joseph in the Old Testament. You're already okay with countless people that were also falsely accused in the Bible and Book of Mormon and Doctrine and Covenants. If you're okay with all of these people that committed crimes or that were falsely accused in the Bible, Book of Mormon, Doctrine and Covenants, then how will you not be okay with somebody that's been to jail or prison and who already served their time? That's the other thing. They've already served their time. Okay? They already served their time. And now it's for you to help be a mentor and help them achieve their goals and dreams. Now you could be a person that mentors somebody to help them achieve their goals and dreams. You could be somebody that chooses to be a hero in somebody's life. You could choose to be someone's sponsor, somebody's mentor. You could choose that if you got involved in the addiction epidemic. the addiction and recovery world. And if you already know your Bibles inside and out, Doctrine and Covenants inside and out, the Book of Mormon inside and out, then how, and you're already okay with all of those people, then how will you not be okay with people that have been in jail and prison who are in active addiction? That's what's so ironic about this whole thing, all right? That's the tragedy of this whole epidemic, is that Christians and Mormons hated upon people in addiction recovery, people that have been in jail and prison, but yet you're okay with Joseph Smith, you're okay with Nephi that chopped a man's head off, you're okay with Joseph Smith that went to jail over and over again, you're okay with David that put a man to get killed in the war, you're okay with Joseph that went to prison in the Old Testament, you're okay with all the other people that were falsely accused, but you're not okay with helping people that have been in jail and prison that suffer from drugs and alcohol? All right, the other thing, if you want to help people, you're going to have to know something about trauma, because it is a known fact in the addiction recovery world that people that struggle with drugs and addiction and alcohol, they have had trauma in their life, okay? Trauma, whether it was childhood trauma or adult trauma or both, they have been traumatized, and most of them have been traumatized through several big experiences. And so the person that could help somebody in active addiction the most is also somebody that knows trauma very well and who has coped and dealt with trauma or is educated about trauma. The more educated or the more experienced you are in trauma, the better you are going to be able to help somebody get sober from drugs or alcohol. And that's a fact. And so that's another large part of it. The more you've worked on hobbies or talents or skills, the more educated you are, the more that people in active addiction are going to thrive and love who you are. They are going to gravitate to who you are and love who you are. The more experienced you are in life, the more educated you are about life, the more they're going to respect you and listen to you. The more that you open up and the more honest you are, the more relatable you are, the more vulnerable you are, the more that the people in active addiction are going to relate to you and thrive being your mentor or thrive in your presence. In a mentorship, being in their presence, they're going to thrive the most if you are open and honest, if you're experienced with hobbies and talents, if you're experienced with education and knowledge and like intellectual stuff, the more that people in active addiction are going to love who you are. And so with that, I think that's about it for now. There might be some more information I give you another day, I don't know. But for now, I think that's a really good start to, if you ever have a desire to get involved, please brush up on all of these things that I told you about. Okay, thank you. Have a good day.